Joey Johnson, and I'm down here at the production studios for Utah Opera, where we are getting an exclusive sneak peek behind the scenes of them building their set and costumes for The Little Prince. They'll be creating this entire show from the ground up, and we're going to see what it takes to put on an amazing production like this.
The story is actually The Little Prince that most people have had read to them or they've read themselves. This opera actually stays very faithful to that story. And it's the story of the pilot who wrecks his airplane and runs into the magical Little Prince, and all the things that the Little Prince teaches the pilot as they go and visit the worlds. And there are all these people that they meet. And so we are actually executing the designs of Jacob Clymer here, and he came out to visit us. And then after that, we have been doing things long distance. There's so many details even when a designer comes and you have information. Then when the fabric starts to come and you start to execute the designs and start working on it, then you have a bazillion questions. And so everybody here is working on executing the bazillion questions and coming up with a bazillion more, actually. This is the idea that he has in mind to start with. So the Little Prince will actually have a wig so that they will look the same all the time. The pilot, and we decided not to do that, so he actually has a leather jacket. This is the Rose, and there's her jacket, her coat, and it's down there, and it's gorgeous. Tiffany's done a great job on that, on cutting this whole thing and making these petals. There are zillions of them. It's been really hard. We have lots of people involved. And then these are a rose, we call them the flowers. So there's 3 flowers that come out in colors, different colors in these great palazzo pants. And then this is Water, and she will actually appear riding on a swing. This is the Fox, and she's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. There's a very quick change involving that fox. There's a hunter, and they're all in jodhpurs. These are so cute. This is like red and white buffalo plaid. There's the lamplighter, and Donna is working on making that scarf. We've started on the king, but we have enough questions. We're going to make Jacob work with us on it. But these are actually those short little pants, and this is a big piece that is connected to the throne. So it looks something like that.
Christopher Macbeth picked a designer named Jacob Clymer. He and the director, Tara Faircloth, they worked together to come up with the concept for the show. We didn't actually see it until it was into later phases, something similar to this. And then as we get the drawings from the designer, we then do a cost estimate to make sure everything fits within the budget. And as we went along, we had to cut things and change things and modify it to make it work within what the bosses wanted it to do. And then we get the drawings, and then we start doing our own drafting that makes things into the shop so the guys can build it, and we go from there. Some of the parts you see over here to the left are the bookcases, which are on both sides of the stage here, and we start out in the study. And then during the course of the show, the back wall flies out as we go into the world of the Little Prince, and it's revealed like this. With paper falling out of the sky, the pilot's plane has already been crashed into the mound of paper. The inspiration that Jacob sent a lot to had like libraries that had been destroyed in bombings and stuff. So it's the world exploding as we go into it. This is for Act 1. A few things change as we go into Act 2. We start again back in the study at the top of Act 2. And then some of the aesthetics change behind the wall for the Act 2 part.
This is the plane parts for the plane that we are building for the Little Prince, and eventually we will assemble the parts, add some steel structure to it so that it can support the weight of people. I think a section of it, somebody's got to walk out onto the wing of the plane, so we need to make that load bearing.
This is a whole bunch of really individualized characters that have to be spot on because there's a focus on them as they interact with the pilot and the little boy, with the Little Prince. So this is the snake. So the way that Jacob executed the snake, and instead of having him be a snake shape, which there's 2 other versions of this out there, of this show. They were actually kind of padded or had a long tail, and instead Jacob found this fabric. His snakiness comes from this. And then this is the Vain Man, and it's made from tablecloths. And then our stitchers actually tailored it, so it's an honest to goodness tailored coat with a really bright lining. So his pants are like this too. This is the Businessman. I just got the designs for the wigs and makeup that Kate Casalino, who's our wig and makeup designer, just got okayed from Jacob and Tara, our director, and they're pretty wonderful. We want other companies to use this. I mean, it's like, yeah, it will help pay for it, but this is going to be a visually stunning show, and this show is such a great piece. It should be done, and it hasn't been done.
So there is another production of Little Prince. It's owned by Houston Grand Opera. The cost is prohibitive for companies our size and smaller to do the production. So we ventured out to make our own production. We're lucky here at Utah Opera. We have a full scene shop, which you can hear the noises in the background. And so we can do anything we want woodworking wise on this side. We do steel working on the other side, just depending on what a set requires, is whether we work out of wood or steel, or we do a hybrid of both to make sure it lasts. The goal is that a set will last 30 years and load in and out of trucks and theaters and different venues like that. By having a shop, it allows us to have the artistic vision that we want for a production. We don't have to listen to someone else's whims and wishes, and that we can push forward what we see as the best artistic value to a show.
We are so lucky to have Utah Opera here and the amazing facilities that let them put on shows like this. The Little Prince will be opening January 19th of 2019, so make sure you keep an eye on that. We'll have more coming for you as well as we get closer to the show. We'll be back with more.